Okay. So like we have in the yesterday's class, we have created these two custom objects, hiring manager and the candidates. And then we have learned how to create the custom object using the standard navigation. Okay. So with the standard navigation, we have created this hiring manager object and the candidate object, right? And then we also know that when we create this object is actually not blank. Whenever we create any object, see if I press this new button, I can see there are a few fields that are already being there. Whenever we create any object, that object is not blank. Whenever an object created, few standard fields, like 5 standard fields that are automatically created. That means 5 standard columns, 5 standard columns that are automatically created whenever we create any object. What are these columns? IDs created by owner, name, and the last modified by. So it's ID, name, owner, created by, and the last modified by. So whenever we create any object, likewise, we have created this hiring manager and the candidate object. So always remember this, the object is not blank. It's never like this object created, it's blank. It doesn't have any columns in the database.com. It's not like that. Whenever we create any object, it is by default created with the 5 standard fields. What are those fields? ID, name, owner, created by, and the last modified by. Now for creating these two, hiring manager and the candidate, we have follow the standard navigation. Now let me try to, let's try to understand this with another technique called as schema builder. So using the schema builder also, you can create an object, even you can create the fields also. Using the schema builder also, you can do that. So one more object is left. So far we have created this candidate and then hiring manager. Now one more object like position object is still left. So what we are going to do right now is that we are going to create this object position with the help of schema builder. And then you are going to learn how to create the object using schema builder. So, and then observe the few things over here. When we create the object using standard navigation, and then when we create the object, when we create the object using standard navigation, when we create the object using schema builder, there are a few things that are going to be different. So you need to observe those things. You need to observe those things. What are the differences between creating a object, creating an object from standard navigation, and then creating an object from the schema builder? So let's create this position object. Let's create the position object with the help of schema builder. So to find the schema builder, let me go to the setup menu. Inside the setup menu, if you go to the create menu, if inside the create menu, or maybe sorry, inside the build menu, you have this direct option for the schema builder. So go to the setup menu. Inside the build menu, there is a direct option for the schema builder. You need to just click on this particular option, schema builder. And so we have here, let me clear all of this thing. So now our canvas is clear. Now we are going to learn how to create an object, and then we are also going to learn how to create the fields inside the object using schema builder. So presently you are onto this particular tab called as object. Presently you are onto this particular tab. Now, if you want to create the object, if you want to create these objects, you need to branch to this particular tab called as elements. You need to make a switch, you need to make a switch to this particular. How to make a switch? Just click on this elements, this element. So this tab, using this particular tab elements, what we can do? We can create the objects, we can, create the fields inside the object. You are going to learn all this, you are going to learn all of this options. So don't worry about this. Presently what I'm supposed to do is that I need to create one custom object called as position. So let's see how to create a custom object with the schema builder. Just go to this tab elements. Initially, whenever you land on this particular tab object. Whenever you open the schema builder, you initially is going to land on this particular tab called as object. First of all, make a switch from object to elements. Go to this particular tab elements, and you have an option over here object. Observe this. As soon as you put your mouse over this particular option, the icons changes. The icon changes. This particular icon is called as draggable icon. Draggable icon. That means you can drag this entity. You can drag this component. So draggable, just drag this. Just drag and drop it over here. Now it will ask you what kind of object you want to create. I want to create an object whose name is what? Whose name is position. Whose name is position. So with this name, position, I want to create one object. Let me just copy and paste it over here. With this name, position, I'm going to create one object. If the name is singular name is position, what is the plural name? The plural name is going to be the positions. That is what. The rest of the things keep it as it is. Start with the constant or object name. If you want to give any description, yes, you can give it. Otherwise, leave it to the default selections. I want to have this allow reports, allow activities, and the track field is ready. Inside, if the standard navigation, these were present in the optional sections, optional activities. So we used to click them in that standard navigation also. Here also we are going to click this allow reports, click on the allow activities and track field histories. You need to click, you need to check all of them. Make this to be developed. Yesterday we have discussed what happens when we click this in development, and what really happens when we select this deployed. By the way, deployed was the default option there also. When we were creating this object during the standard navigation, there also deployed was the default option that was selected by default. Okay. Apart from this, we have few more things like, if you scroll it down, add Google's documents and attachment. Once you click all this, just make it save. And see, the object is created. How simple this is. How simple this is. So what you have observed up to now, what is the observation? Yes. Can anyone please tell me? Yesterday, we have created the object. We have created the object hiring manager and the candidate. I have created with the standard navigation. Today, you have witnessed we have created one object called as position with the help of schema builder. What you observe over here? क्या क्या नोटिस किया आप लोगों ने? ये आप बताइए मुझको. क्या आपने कल और आज के बीच में क्या डिफरेंस नोटिस किया कि जब आपने एक ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया है स्टैंडर्ड नेविगेशन के थ्रू और आज आपने सीखा कि किस तरह से एक ऑब्जेक्ट को क्रिएट करते हैं हम विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस स्कीमा बिल्डर. व्हाट इज द ऑब्जर्वेशन? क्या महसूस किया आप लोगों ने इन दोनों टेक्निक के बीच में? एनीवन? कोई कुछ भी शेयर नहीं करना चाहता है मेरे ख्याल. Everyone wants to be just an audience. I have so many, approximately 21 audience in my classes, but none of them is my student. None of them is taking training of the Salesforce. All of guys are audiences. Anyways, audiences, see, the difference is that when we create any object with the standard navigation, we need to go from one page to another page, and we at least need to go for 3 to 4 branchings are there. That means you first, let me try to create an object from the schema builder. See, sir, with the standard navigation, sorry, go to this create and go to this objects, Yesterday we have created all this. Today we have created position. But let me create one more custom object. Just for your understanding, I'm creating one more custom with the candidate customer. Candidate is also created. With the name customer, let me try to create one object for you. And now you please observe. Now you please observe. Singular and the plural name. Okay? This is the first page. This is the very first page. Allow reports, allow activities, track field histories, allow or everything. Make it deployed. Allow search, add notes, and launch a new custom tab wizard after saving this. So if I save this, the object is not created. Once I have routed into the second page. मैं एक पेज से ब्रांच होके दूसरे पेज पे चलाया. Object is not created. अभी तक object create नहीं हुआ. But here in the first navigation itself, the object is created. In the first, the object is created. Yes. यहाँ पहली बार में ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हो गया. पहली बार में ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हो. Now next, अभी मैं इसी पेज पे, ठीक है. Now I need to select the tab style. I need to select the tab style. I'm going to select any tab for this. I have selected this tab style. I have selected this tab style. Next, एक और पेज पे चला आया. अभी भी मेरा ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट नहीं हुआ. Still that object create होता तो यहाँ पे कस्टमर लिख के आ जाता था. Right now I'm having this hiring manager candidates. Still, still the object is not created. Or maybe the object create हुआ, tab create नहीं हुआ, जो भी है. I'm on to this particular page. पहले मैं एक पेज से दूसरे पेज पे आया, दूसरे पेज से मैं तीसरे पेज पे आया हूँ. I'm on to this particular page. ठीक है. Now make the defaults on. वैसे by the way default is always on. Default is always on. And go to this next. Now again, again object is not created. Again the tab is not created. I'm on to the fourth navigation. I have routed to the fourth. This is the fourth jump that what I have taken. Okay. ये fourth jump है, this is the fourth navigation. Then I need to save this. And after all these number of steps, approximately 4 steps, 3 to 4 steps, now my object and the tab is created. So how much lengthy is this navigation? How much lengthy is that? If you create any object like customer object, this is what we have created just now. But I need to go from one page to second, second to third, and third to fourth. So this is, so now you must understood this. कि अगर आप कोई object create करते हो with the standard navigation, the first point is that you need to go to, you need to go to at least four, there are 4 branchings, one page to another. There are at least 4 to 5 page branchings are there. I mean, you need to go to first page, do something on the first page, then go to second, do something on the second, go to third, and then go to fourth. Once you complete the fourth, on the fifth, you actually see this object that is being created. So it's a lengthy process. It's a time consuming process. It's a lengthy process, a time consuming process. Here is what we just need to drag and drop. We just need, there is no need to go from one page to another page. This one is a canvas. It's a graphical user interface, and you just drag and drop the object, and that's it. That object is created in the first attempt itself. In the first attempt itself, I just need to drag and drop it. That's it. Give a name, fill this form. It's a very little bit, it's a quite less fields are there that needs to be filled out, and you just save it when object is going to be created. That's it. In the first attempt itself, you create the object. This is the major difference between. Now you might have understood this. Creating an object with the schema builder, creating an object with the schema builder, it is actually more feasible. It is actually more easy. It's less time consuming. It takes less of the time to create any object with the schema builder. That is why it is advisable. This is why it is, that is the reason it is advisable to go with the schema builder for your day-to-day activities. If you want to create the object, just to try to create it with the schema builder. Don't go with the standard navigation unless and until you find it to be very easy. This is the only. If you find it very good, go with it. No problem. It's all your choice. If you have time, go with the standard navigation. But if you want to make your work fast, then go with the schema builder. Because you just need to make the single apprint. You just need to drag drop, fill a very small form, and that's it. The object has been created. इतना difference है दोनों के बीच में. So this is what I was expecting with you guys कि आपको observe करने बोला था मैंने in the beginning itself. See, ऐसे से training, we are what you are doing guys, you are doing Salesforce. Salesforce is a very professional training. है ना? यहाँ पे आप इस तरह से नहीं रह सकते. If I ask you something, you need to give the answer. If you know, tell yes. If you don't know, tell me no, sir, I don't know. Sorry, we cannot answer. But you need to be interactive. Interview आपने देना है, मैंने नहीं देना है. I am here to train you, but I am not here to give your interview. Interview आपने देने हैं. If you don't learn how to speak, you will not be able to crack your interviews. Let me tell you this also. आप चाहे certified हो जाओ, आप चाहे कुछ हो जाओ. If you know, unless and until you not become the interactive, you not become the vocable, तब तक आपको interview में कैसे बोलोगे? And remember, at least 1 hour you need to be speak out in the interview. Then only assume कि आपका interview सही हुआ है. Salesforce में ना 1.5 hours are very common. Only then, अगर आपका आधे घंटे में इंटरव्यू वाइंड अप हो गया ना, तो समझ लेना कि आप रिजेक्ट हो चुके हो. सो अप टू दैट मच यू नीड टू स्पीक आउट. तो ये अंदर का झिझक, ये अंदर का डर, ये कुछ नहीं है, ये आपको ले डूबेगा. ये आपका दुश्मन है. यू नीड टू मेक इट. अब आपको जगह बनानी पड़ेगी. आपको ये सब चीजें निकालना पड़ेगा. बिकॉज आप इस कोर्स में आए हो आगे बढ़ने के लिए, पीछे आने के लिए नहीं आए हो. अब वो झिझक, वो डर, वो मैं बोलूँ तो क्या होगा, पूछे तो चलो जाने दो, कोई और आंसर कर देगा, मैं तो चुप रहता हूँ. ये टेंडेंसी निकाल दो प्लीज. ये टेंडेंसी नहीं चलेगी. इससे आपको कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, नुकसान बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा. ठीक है. सो व्हेन आई टेल यू टू ऑब्जर्व, यू नीड टू ऑब्जर्व. व्हेन आई टेल यू टू आंसर, यू नीड टू आंसर. बोलना पड़ेगा आपको. ठीक है. सो मम कोई नहीं रहेगा मेरी क्लास में जब तक मैं खुद ही नहीं बोलता हूँ म्यूट करो. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ दिस वाज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट. This was the first point. What is the observation? Whenever we create any object using the schema builder, we find that it's more easy. Why? Because we see, we have just now, we have also created one more object customer, and we revise all these steps जो हमने कल किया था. So that's all we have taken this revision, and you have now observed कि एक पेज से दूसरे पेज से तीसरे पेज, you need to select some options in the first page, go to the second page, now do something on the second page, select some option, and then go to the third, then go to the fourth. This is how you actually create one object. Okay, ये पहला point था. Now the second point, what is the difference? Again we are creating the differences. See, although I have created this object, although I have created one object called as position, if I go to setup menu, if I go to, create, if I go to objects, I can see there is an object called as position. This object, I have created this with the schema builder. With the schema builder, we have created this object called as position. But tab is not created. Tab is not created. Yesterday also, if you remember with the standard navigation, when we were creating an object, sorry, someone mic is on. Yeah. So when we were creating this object, I think it was, candidate object. If you remember, while creation of this candidate object, I intentionally has not checked one checkbox. And that checkbox was this: launch a new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. So if you remember, if you don't remember, go and watch the video. Okay. So while we were creating this object, the second object actually, candidate object, if you remember, while I was creating this candidate object, when I was creating this candidate object, again with the scheme, standard navigation, so there was a checkbox called as launch a new custom tab wizard after saving the custom object. I intentionally has not clicked this particular checkbox. What happened? Although the object was created, but then the tab was not created. That tab was not created. And with this navigation, we have, we go and then we create this tab. So that was an additional navigation. That was an additional step that we need to do whenever if you forget to click this particular checkbox, launch a new custom tab wizard. So, what is going to happen? Although your object is going to be created, tab is not going to be created. Then you need to go and follow this all navigation to create the tab. That was we have learned yesterday. Similarly, here also, see, our object is created. Our object is created. Yes, our object is created. But what? The tab is not created. The tab is not created. Now, what needs to do? I mean, write down this point. Whenever we create any object with the schema builder, whenever we create any object in the schema builder, although it's very feasible, it's very easy, but it's having one drawback. There's one drawback. What is that drawback? What is that drawback? The drawback is the object is going to be created. Don't worry. Problem, tab will not going to be created. Tab is not going to be created. Now you need to follow this navigation once again, go with this navigation, what we have done yesterday. We need to go with the same navigation, do all these steps, and we need to create the tab. Additionally, we need to create the tab because object is created, tab is not created. Object is created, but tab is not created. So let's go and create the tab. How to do? This is the navigation. Go to the setup menu, go to the build menu. Inside the build, you have this option create. Inside the create, there is an option for the tab also. Let's do this. Go to the setup menu. Go to the build menu. Inside this build, just expand this, just expand the create menu. There's an option to create a tab. What is this? Is the option. Just click on this particular tabs. And presently, we have created a tabs for candidates object, customer object, and hiring manager. But we have not created a tab for the position object. Right now, we have, yesterday we have created hiring manager. We follow every steps of the navigation, and so the object along with the tab was created. Second time when I was creating the customer, I intentionally, don't click that checkbox. I intentionally, when I was creating the customer, no, sorry, when I was creating the candidate, sorry, when I was creating the candidate, so I intentionally don't click this checkbox. I intentionally don't click the checkbox called as this launch a new custom tab wizard, this one. So what happened? The object created, tab was created. So we created the tab for the candidate. Today also, I just to show you the steps of creating of this an object, I've created one object, with every steps of the navigation. I doesn't forgot anything. And so the object created, tab also created. Now we have created one more object called as position with the schema builder. And thus our finding is that what we have just found, object is going to be created, tab is not going to be created. And so you need to create one tab. What type of tab? A custom object tab. What are the different types of tabs? There are 5 different types of tabs. Yesterday we have discussed this also. This also we have discussed. There are 5 different types of tabs in the Salesforce. Custom object tab, visual force page tab, web page tab, lightning page tab, and then lightning component tab. These are the 5 different types of tabs inside the Salesforce. They could ask you this also, in the, if you go for the admin 201 certification, this is probably the question. What are the different types of the tabs in the Salesforce? So there are 5 different types. All of them are listed out on this particular user interface. You can see the names: custom object tab, web page tab, visual force page tab, lightning page tab, and then lightning component tab. These are the 5 different types of tabs inside the Salesforce. There are 5 different types of the tabs. Let me move forward. Yes, see. So we need to create a tab for one object. That is what we have created with the schema builder. Object name is position, tab is not created. Object created, tab not created. So just click on this new button. And inside this particular, I have told you yesterday also, we are going to revise today also. When you click this particular, drop down, when you click this particular pick list menu, what is going to be happen? You are going to get the list of all those objects. I mean, the name, well, for them, the object is created, but a tab is not created. Yesterday, we have seen the name of candidate over here. Now we are going to see the name of position. See, we are going to see the name of position because this is the object. For this object is created, tab is not created. So let me select this object. The object name is tab, position object. Let me select this object called as the position. What else? I need to select the tab style also. Give a suitable tab style for this position. Let me try to give a suitable tab for this. Yeah, here if you want, you can suggest me anything. Maybe I could go with the keys. Yeah, you can make your own selection. That's not really the issue. And go with the next. Again, you landed on the same interface. Now this is something called a Jana Pehchana interface. We know how to, we have already talked, make the defaults to be on. Always make the defaults to be on. Next, again, we are onto this Jana Pehchana interface. This is telling you to include all of the standard users, all of the profile users. Just make it include this for every profile user. Include this for every profile user. Amira, you have texted me one thing over here. So you have created one what you have created, custom object or custom application that you were trying to display. Yes,
Custom application.
you were trying to delete that application, but you then you got this message. It was related to the profile, right? So if
Yes, yes.
during this creation, let me tell you that during the creation of the application, there was some same interfaces where we need to select the profiles. What you have done, you have selected this and then you click this. So first of all, you need to make the editing. So you need to go and edit the application. Inside the editing, if you get this option to exclude, this is what include. If you got this option to exclude every one of them, exclude your application from every profile and then try to delete. Maybe you are going to, maybe you are going to delete that application, whatever you have created. So if you want to delete whatever you want, what the application you need to, what you have created, and that error was because you have included for it for every profile. First you need to exclude and then try to delete, and tell me what really happens. Chalo, आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Okay, sir.
Save it. Okay, so now see one more this position object has been created with the position. One more object is created position, although the object was already created. No, object was already created. Now we have created a tab for this. We have created a tab for this. This is, this is how to create the objects. This is how to create the objects with the help of standard navigation and then with the help of schema builder. With the help of standard navigation and with the help of schema builder. I have written this note also, don't worry. Whenever we create any object with the schema builder, what we have observed, then for the object, tab is not going to be created. I mean, the object is going to be created. Yes, object is going to be created. But then what happens? Tab is not going to be created. So we additionally, require to create the tab. We additionally require to create the tab. We additionally require to create the tab using this above navigation, what we have just followed. So we have already written this. Okay? Create the custom object position, anything over this use case we have already solved. Now comes to the fields. See, we have created the object, we have created this object called as hiring manager. If you go to the hiring manager, you can now see there is only one field called as name. Although there are 5 fields, there are 5 fields, but then you can enter only the name. If you go to the candidate again, you can see there's only one field. What's that field? Candidate name. You can enter something in the candidate name. If you go to the customer, there's only one field. What's the customer name? If you go to the position object, there's only one field called as position name. But that doesn't mean that these three objects have only these fields. We are following one IDD. We are following one document for this. This document mention what needs to create. We need to create this object hiring manager. We have already created. Now we need to create all these fields also. Inside the hiring manager, apart from the name, we must have contact number, HR email ID, HR ID, and the locations. We have created this object called as candidate object. Inside the candidate object, the client want all these fields. Inside the position object, the client want all these fields. These are the fields that are going to be stored. The related records related to the positions, related to the candidate, related to the hiring manager. These are the number of fields. With the help of this field, I'm going to create some records inside this object. Presently, yesterday we have discussed this. Whenever we create any object, the object is not blank. Somewhere I have written this. Yeah. Whenever we create any object, this object is not blank. It's eventually having all these 5 fields. It's by default created with the 5 fields. What are those? ID, name, owner, and created by last modified. ये है वो 5 field जो by default create हो जाती हैं तब जबकि आप एक object बनाते हैं. Now either you create the object with the schema builder or with the standard navigation. Object creation पर ये field create होती है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि अगर आप स्टैंडर्ड से करोगे तो ही होगा या आप स्कीमा बिल्डर से ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करेंगे तब ये फील्ड क्रिएट नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. आप चाहिए तो आप स्टैंडर्ड नेविगेशन से क्रिएट करें, आप चाहें तो आप उसे स्कीमा बिल्डर से क्रिएट करें. दीज 5 फील्ड्स आर गोइंग टू बी क्रिएटेड एनी हाउ. दीज 5 फील्ड्स आर गोइंग टू बी क्रिएटेड. तो इसमें कोई कंफ्यूजन मत रखिएगा अपने दिमाग में. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ वी नीड टू लर्न द फील्ड्स आल्सो, बिकॉज हमने देखा कि जब भी हम कोई ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करते हैं, टेक्निकली 5 फील्ड्स क्रिएट होती हैं, हालांकि 5 फील्ड्स क्रिएट होती है, लेकिन हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा एक ही फील्ड पे काम कर सकते हैं ना. वी कुड ओनली एंटर द नेम, दैट्स इट. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं. अब अगर आप अकाउंट ऑब्जेक्ट में जाएं तो नाउ यू कैन सी देयर आर सो मेनी फील्ड्स. देयर आर सी दीस फील्ड्स, देयर आर सो मेनी फील्ड्स. इतनी सारी फील्ड्स रिक्वायर्ड होती हैं अकाउंट में एक रिकॉर्ड को स्टोर करने के लिए. यू नीड टू एंटर all these fields, तब जाके कहीं आप सेव करोगे तब ये डेटा स्टोर होता है. If you go to the lead again, there we can see there are so many fields inside the lead object. If you want to enter any lead record, these many are the number of fields you need to fill all this form, this user interface with all these fields. You need to fill, उसके बाद फिर आप सेव करोगे. So we usually have seen this. हमने देखा है. If I go to the contact also, I can see there are so many fields. तो हाउ कुड इट्स पॉसिबल कि हमारे इन हायरिंग मैनेजर कस्टमर कैंडिडेट में सिर्फ एक ही फील्ड चलेगा? नहीं चलेगा ना. ऑल्दो वी हैव क्रिएटेड द ऑब्जेक्ट, बट देन व्हाट, वी हैव नॉट क्रिएटेड द फील्ड. So now let's learn how to create the field. Before that, what are the different types of field? Everywhere the same story is going to be repeated. Everywhere. When I have discussed you with the applications, I told you that there are 2 types of applications. The standard applications like sales, service, marketing. Then user created called as the custom applications. Custom is what? Align and mark. We have created this, you must also have created. आपने भी शायद create कर लिया होगा अब तक. So everywhere, the same thing. Okay, when we are discussing about this application, you come to know that there are 2 types of application: standard and the customs. Standards and the custom. After that, after application, we need we move forward and then we learn about the objects. Then also there are 2 types of object. What are? वही standard object. ये सारी आपकी यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक campaign lead, ये से document, these all are the standard objects. Then custom object. This is one what you have created. यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक, यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक, all this is the standard object. All this is the standard object. और यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक, this is what? This is the custom object. This is what we have created. तो फिर से ये कहानी रिपीट होती है. अब यही सेम चीज फिर से. व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ फील्ड? अगेन सेम, स्टैंडर्ड एंड द कस्टम. और ये बहुत दूर तक ये जाएगा. काफी सारी जगहों पर यही वर्ड बार बार रिपीट होगा, स्टैंडर्ड कस्टम, स्टैंडर्ड कस्टम. अब आपको इस चीज को समझ लेना है और जितनी जल्दी हो सके उतनी जल्दी समझ लो. वट एवर यू क्रिएट इज कॉल्ड एज कस्टम. जो भी आपने बनाया वो क्या है? कस्टम. फिर चाहे वो कोई एप्लीकेशन हो, कस्टम एप्लीकेशन, या फिर वो कोई ऑब्जेक्ट हो, कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट, और या फिर वो कोई फील्ड हो, अगेन द कस्टम फील्ड. So whatever you have created is termed to be the custom, and whatever is being provided to you from the Salesforce, what is there is provided you from the Salesforce is called a standard. If it's an application, we call it to be the standard application. If it's an object, we call it to be the standard object. Now you are going to learn to create, because these standard fields we already have learned. We have discussed this. अच्छा यहाँ पर है ये लिखा हुआ ID owner name. See, मैंने कहा ना, somewhere it has been written. So whenever we create the object is not blank. It's always created with the few standard fields. ID, name, owner, created by, last, modified by. So these are the examples of the standard fields. These are the examples of the standard fields. Now with all these 5 fields, I am also going to create few more fields inside the object. We together are going to create this few fields according to our IDD. According to our IDD, we are going to create all these fields inside this object, inside this object, inside this object. So this is going to be what? This is going to be the custom fields. This is going to be the custom fields. चलिए. So ये कहानी बहुत दूर तक चलने वाली, स्टैंडर्ड और कस्टम वाली, एप्लीकेशन पे, ऑब्जेक्ट पे, फील्ड्स पे, आगे चल के रिपोर्ट्स एंड डैशबोर्ड पे, उसके बाद में फिर प्रोफाइल्स पे, लाइसेंसेस पे, वैलिडेशंस पे, सिक्योरिटी पे, बहुत दूर तक ये कहानी चलने वाली. तो अब इसके बाद मेरे को लगता नहीं कि फिर से मुझे बोलना पड़ेगा कि स्टैंडर्ड मतलब क्या और कस्टम मतलब क्या, क्योंकि एक चीज को समझने के लिए 1 बार काफी है, 2 बार काफी, अब तो 3 बार हो गया ना, तो तीसरी बार मेरे ख्याल अब ये चीज आपके दिमाग में बैठ जानी चाहिए. स्टैंडर्ड जो सेल्सफोर्स ने दिया, कस्टम जो हमने क्रिएट किया. ठीक है. अब इसके आगे देखते हैं. तो देखिए, every time when we learn something, we learn it with the governor limits. Why? Because everything inside the Salesforce is shared between several users. Salesforce follows something called as multi-tenant architecture. Salesforce is built on multi-tenant architecture. What is a multi-tenancy? Long back we have discussed this in our initial days when we were discussing this initial things related to the Salesforce. जो डेमो वगैरह चालू थे, वो उस वक्त हमने डिस्कस किया था कि मल्टी टेनेंसी मतलब ये होता है कि एवरीथिंग इज बीन शेयर्ड. हर चीज शेयर होती है. और जब चीजें शेयर होती हैं सारे लोगों के लिए, देखिए एक घर में अगर 5 बच्चे हैं, तो एक घर में अगर 5 बच्चे हैं, 1 सेकंड रुकिए जरा सा. सो घर में जो कुछ भी बनता है वो सब सभी लोगों के लिए बनता है. ठीक है. तो बिल्कुल यही एग्जांपल है कि हर चीज जो है वो शेयर्ड होती है, तो सबका हिस्सा फिक्स्ड है. और इसीलिए गवर्नर लिमिट्स इसीलिए एक्सपोज की जाती हैं ताकि कोई मोनोपोली ना रहे, किसी एक का कोई पूरा कंट्रोल, कोई एक पूरी तरह से सारे रिसोर्सेज को इस्तेमाल ना करे. अगर कोई किसी भी तरह का रिसोर्स इस्तेमाल करना चाहता है सेल्सफोर्स में, इट्स रिलेटेड टू द एप्लीकेशन, रिलेटेड टू द ऑब्जेक्ट, रिलेटेड टू द सर्वर स्पेस, रिलेटेड टू द फाइल स्पेस, एवरीथिंग एवरीथिंग हैज अ गवर्नर लिमिट, सो दैट कि आप अपनी बाउंड्री में रहकर ही काम कर सको. यू कैन नॉट क्रॉस दिस गवर्नर लिमिट. देयर इज सेल्सफोर्स की गवर्नर लिमिट्स आर वेरी रिजिड. लेट मी टेल यू दिस. अभी इस वक्त जो आप पढ़ रहे हो ये एडमिन मॉड्यूल पे पढ़ रहे हो, बट सेम व्हेनेवर यू when you go with the development also, तो अगर आप यही पॉइंट वहां भी एनकाउंटर होता है. अगेन द गवर्नर लिमिट्स आर वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. गवर्नर लिमिट्स आर वेरी वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. तो we have no way in the Salesforce to go beyond the governor limit. There is no way. Always remember, and that is why you must be aware of this. जैसे कि हमने ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएशन में भी गवर्नर लिमिट डिस्कस किया है. हमने ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएशन में भी गवर्नर लिमिट डिस्कस किया है. When we learn how to create the object, that time first we learn in the application also. Free developer account में 10 custom, unlimited में there's simply unlimited of applications. Object में yes, see, when we go with this free developer edition, what we have using, so 400 custom objects that you can create. Inside the unlimited edition is 2000 custom objects. Now is the time, we have created 4 custom objects. Now is the time to create the fields. Do we have any governor limit? Yes. Inside your edition, that's the free developer account, at max what you can create 500 custom fields, that to be inside one object. Now this governor limit is not related to entire organization, rather it is related to what? It's related to the single object. And in unlimited edition it's 800. तो ज़्यादा difference नहीं है, देखा जाए तो ज़्यादा difference नहीं है यहाँ पे. So this means if I want to create few fields inside the manager, hiring manager, I could at max create 500 custom fields. Because why I'm using a developer edition. अगर ये मेरा unlimited edition होता तो inside the hiring manager I could create up to 800. Okay, same with the candidate also. If I go in the candidate, I want to create few fields inside the candidate. At max, I can create the 500 custom fields, not more than that. If I go to customers and the position again, again the governor limit is same. So this governor limit is what? It's related to the object, individual object. So inside the individual object, at max, what you can create is a 500 custom fields, not more than that. Okay. So always remember the governor limits. Always remember. If you find it difficult, एक नोट्स बनाओ, सामने चिपकाओ, है ना, जैसे अपन अपनी पढ़ाई किया करते थे, कोई भी तरीका अपनाओ, लेकिन याद करिए, गवर्नर लिमिट्स को याद करिए। ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं। व्हाट आर द वे टू व्यू द फील्ड्स? हमने ये चीज वैसा ही पढ़ा है, आप शायद आपको थोड़ा बहुत मेरा तरीका समझ में आ रहा हो। डायरेक्टली क्रिएट करना से पहले मेरा फोकस इस चीज पे रहता है कि आपको वो चीजें देखनी आनी चाहिए, और उसके बाद फिर आप क्रिएट करना भी सीख लो। ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। सो वी हैव लर्न दिस आल्सो कि हाउ टू सी द ऑब्जेक्ट्स, ऑब्जेक्ट्स को कैसे देखना, वेज टू व्यू द ऑब्जेक्ट। उसके बाद में हमने वेज टू क्रिएट द ऑब्जेक्ट पे बात करी। तो सिमिलरली हियर आल्सो नाउ लेट्स सी हाउ टू सी द फील्ड्स। पहले फील्ड्स को देखना सीखो, बाद में क्रिएट करना, और क्रिएट करने से पहले तो आपको डेटा टाइप्स पढ़ाने पड़ेंगे मुझको, तभी जाके हम क्रिएट करने के बारे में कुछ सोच सकते हैं। ठीक है, how to view the fields by using the standard navigation, by using the force.com quick access menu, by using the developer console, by using the schema builder, and by using a third party, not third party, a Salesforce sponsored on-premise tool called as data loader, and even by using the third party tool as workbench, या फिर aside, या फिर Informatica Cloud. These are the various ways to see the fields. So let me try to demonstrate few of them. By using the standard navigation, how to see the fields. But this navigation is only for the standard object. You could not go with the navigation for the custom object. This is only to see the fields inside the standard object. Let me show you that. Go to this setup menu. Go to the build menu. Inside the build menu, you need to expand the customize. Expand the customize by clicking on this. By clicking on this, just expand the customize button, and then if you want to see, these are the names of your standard object. If you want to see the object, the fields of the account, just click on the accounts. Just click on the accounts, and then there's many other number of the options. These many other number of the options. Here you got this option called as field. Same with the lead also. If you expand the lead, here's the lead. Same with the campaigns also. Everywhere, in every standard object, this is one option to see the field. See the field, just click on this, and you it will display you every standard field and every custom field of this particular account. So these many are the number of account standard field. These are the standard fields. Now, there are so many standard fields. Now we are going to learn what is the difference between a label, field label, and field name. Then what is the difference between field label and API name? What exactly is the API name? What exactly is the field name? What is field label? We are going to learn this, so don't worry about this. And it's really important to learn this. Why? Because as an admin, as a developer, as a developer, we are always going to use something called as field name and API name. We never going to use field label. So you must understand what is the difference between label and name, API name or field name, and up to our use, we are always going to use the API names and the field names. This is what, and this is what. So these many are the fields of the accounts. These many are the fields. These are the standard. These are accounts also have some custom fields. These are the custom fields. If I want to see the fields of this lead, go to the leads. Go to the leads and then just click on the fields. These many are the number of fields. These are the standard fields. These are the standard fields of the lead object, and these are the custom fields of the. So this is the navigation. If you want to go in the campaign and you click on the fields, you will get the list of all fields of the campaign object, all standard fields and all custom fields also. There's no custom field in the campaign. Okay. So every time when you want to see the field of any standard object, this is the navigation. This is the navigation, right? Now this was the first technique. The second is what? By using the force.com quick access menu with this navigation also. Let me discuss this also. Go to any object, go to this account object. Any object, I mean, the object whose field you want to see. Just go to that object. I want to see the fields of account. One way is to go with this, जिसके पहले देखा हमने. The second is go to the account object and then expand this. This is something called as force.com quick access menu. This is something called as force.com quick access menu. And then you have this option called as view fields. Just click on this and see the same page. It will open this particular page where we can see all the standard and all custom. Why should we go with this navigation? Because see, if I want to see the fields of any standard object, if I want to see the fields of any standard object, then going with this navigation setup and expanding the customize and this is going to fine, it's going to work. But what if I want to see the fields of any custom object? Like if I want to see the fields of hiring manager, candidate, customer, and the position. If I want to see the fields of these custom objects, how could I see this? This is not going to be listed out here. Hiring, there is no name called as hiring manager. There's no name called as position. There's no name called as candidate. No, nowhere it has been. Why? Because these all are the standard objects. These all are the standard objects. So how you could see the fields of custom? How you could see the fields of custom? Go with the object. Go with the object. Just click on the object. Expand the force.com quick access menu, and then click on this view fields. So this navigation, this technique is actually common. This technique is more suitable to see the field. Why? Because with the same technique, you could see the fields, standard, custom, whatever. You could see the fields of every standard object and every custom object. If you learn this technique, go with the candidate, expand the force.com quick access menu and view fields. It is going to list it out. It's going to list it out the fields of this custom object. If you go to this, if you go to the accounts, and inside the account, if you expand this and view fields again, so this technique is going to work with standard as well as custom. So it's better to go with this technique. It's better to go with this technique. But you should have a knowledge of everything. That is why I'm learning everything. मैं skip नहीं कर रहा कुछ भी. I never do that. I never do that. Whatever I know, I used to tell them, whether it's useful or not. That's up to you. That's really up to you to decide. I'm the no one to decide that. I'm just a person that who knows the Salesforce, and my responsibility is to teach you everything, whatever I know. And that is why I don't decide on myself. मैं हर चीज बताता हूँ. It's really up to you to decide कि मेरे को कौन सा navigation ज्यादा suitable लग रहा है. Whether creating an object with the standard navigation or creating an object with the schema builder ज्यादा feasible है. Whether I mean, if I want to see the feeds, whether it go with the standard navigation or go with the force.com, that's really you to decide. Okay. The third technique with the developer console. Now, this is something which developers usually use. Admin usually इनको use करते हैं. Developers usually go with the developer console. Developer usually go with the developer console. So, भले ही आप admin की training करते हो, भले ही, लेकिन मैं कुछ चीजें developer console से भी दिखाता रहता हूँ, ताकि कुछ चीजें आपको as an administrator, आप शायद admin के बाद quit कर लो, कोई issue नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो आपको थोड़ा बहुत डेवलपमेंट से भी जो मिल सकता है, वो भी आपको आ जाना चाहिए. इसलिए मैं वो भी चीजें पढ़ा देता हूँ आपको. वैसे तो एडमिन की ट्रेनिंग में डेवलपर कंसोल पे कोई लेके नहीं जाता, हमको भी लेके नहीं गया था. हमें बाद में जब डेवलपर पे आया, हमें जब डेवलपमेंट की ट्रेनिंग स्टार्ट किया, तब पता चला डेवलपर कंसोल के बारे में. बट देन मैं ऐसा नहीं करता हूँ. आई डोंट डू दैट. ठीक है, चलिए गो विद दिस. हाउ टू गो विद द डेवलपर कंसोल. आपका जो ये नेम है ना, दिस इज योर नेम, दिस अकाउंट नेम, वहां पे क्लिक करिए. Within this pick list, you have this option called as developer console. Now click on this developer console. This is what? This is a developer console. ये है developer console. Now go to the file menu and click open. Select the objects. ठीक है, अब इसमें से आपको जिसकी भी फील्ड देखनी है ना, उस पर आप क्लिक कर लो. If you want to see the fields of account, just make a double click on the account. It's going to list it out every field. हाँ, यहाँ पे स्टैंडर्ड और कस्टम आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ता है. कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं वो मैं सिखाने वाला हूँ. डोंट वरी, डोंट वरी. यहाँ पे आपको सारी फील्ड्स लिस्टेड आउट है, सारी फील्ड्स लिस्टेड आउट है. अब उसमें से स्टैंडर्ड और कस्टम ऐसे अलग अलग नहीं है. यहाँ पे आसानी होती है देखने में. मतलब इफ आई गो विद दिस नेविगेशन, आई कैन सी द अकाउंट स्टैंडर्ड फील्ड्स, इवन आई कैन सी द अकाउंट कस्टम फील्ड्स, एंड दैट आर बाइफरगेटेड इन टू डिफरेंट टेबल्स. Two different tables. Here is not. Here is not. But then I can see every fields. ठीक है. So this is one more way. This is one more way to see the fields of any object. तो हमने तीन चीजें अभी तक डिस्कस कर ली हैं. With the standard navigation, you can only see the fields of standard object. Using the force.com quick access menu, you can see the fields of standard as well as custom. And using the developer console also, you can see the standard and the custom object fields. Now, with the help of schema builder also, you can see how. Let's discuss this also. Yes, someone mic is on. Karan, yeah, you have something to ask? Okay, fine. Got it. So let's go with the schema builder. If I go with the schema builder, let me try to have this account object. Let me try to have this account object over here. See now, I can see the fields of account object. What are the field name? Account name. As you can see, account name. I can see this field. Account name is there. Account name, account number, account owner, site. So these are the fields. This is also one way. This is also one way. Inside the position object, we have only these fields created by last modified by owner and the position name. ID यहाँ पर display नहीं होता है. ID देखना है तो you need to go with the developer console. You need to go with the developer console. Let me try to see you that also. Object पे आप देखिए position object. If I click on this position object, I can see this field ID over. ID यहाँ पे दिखेगा आपको. ID यहाँ पर भी नहीं नजर आएगा. So ID field created है, but यहाँ दिखती नहीं है. Even not on the user interface पे भी नहीं दिखता. If I go with this position, if I open this position object, again the ID is not displayed. तो आईडी अगर देखना है तो फिर डेवलपर कंसोल पे जाओ. तो इसीलिए सारी चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. कुछ चीजें ऐसी जो यूजर इंटरफेस लेवल पे दिखती हैं, कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो आपको डेवलपर कंसोल पे अगर वो नहीं दिख रहा है तो फिर आपको डेवलपर कंसोल पे जाना पड़ता है उनको ढूंढने के लिए. सो उसमें से काफी सारी फील्ड्स हैं. इज डिलीटेड इज देयर, आईडी इज देयर, इज डिलीटेड. उसके बाद में आपका लास्ट मॉडिफाइड बाय आईडी, सिस्टम मॉड स्टैम्प्स, लास्ट एक्टिविटी. दीज आर द फ्यू फील्ड्स आल्सो. ये कुछ ऐसी फील्ड्स है जो वहां पे नजर नहीं आती आपको, बट इतनी फील्ड्स क्रिएट होती हैं. whenever you create any object, see these many are the fields that created. हमें सिर्फ 5 याद रखनी, डोंट वरी. आईडी, ओनर, ठीक है, नेम, क्रिएटेड बाय एंड द लास्ट मॉडिफाइड बाय. केवल ये 5 याद रखो, ज्यादा याद रखने की आपको जरूरत है. ठीक है. तो ये एक और टेक्निक है स्कीमा बिल्डर आल्सो. विद द हेल्प ऑफ स्कीमा बिल्डर अगेन वी कैन सी द फील्ड्स इनसाइड वन ऑब्जेक्ट. The next by using data loader. तो data loader मैं आपको पढ़ाने वाला हूँ, don't worry. We are going to learn this data loader also. Data management जब हम पढ़ेंगे. So inside the data management, we are going to learn this data loader also. So using a data loader, you can perform the bulk import and export operations. We can perform all this bulk import and export operation. You can insert, update. ये ऐसा क्यों दिख रहा है? एक सेकंड जरा से मुझे एक छोटा सा सेटिंग करने दीजिए. Let me go with some settings. Give me a second. अब ठीक दिख रहा है. तो सब ब्लर दिख रहा था पहले. सो वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न दिस टूल आल्सो. ठीक है. डेटा लोडर क्या है ये हम बेसिकली पढ़ने वाले हैं आगे चल के जब हम बल्क डेटा पे काम करेंगे. मतलब बल्क डेटा से मेरा मतलब है millions of the record, up to 5 millions. 5 million record you can insert, update, upsert, delete. These many are the number of operations. ये सीखने वाले आपसे, don't worry. डेटा लोडर से आप अप टू 5 millions of the record पे काम कर सकते हो. What is 1 million? 1 million is 10 lakh. So 5 millions is 50 lakh. Salesforce के पास एक ऐसा टूल है जिसकी मदद से 50 lakhs of data, इतना बड़ा डेटा आप प्रोसेस कर सकते हो. How? With this we are going to learn. There also we are going to learn how to see the objects. This is also we are going to learn. So with this technique also we आप सीखने वाले. So don't worry about this. You are going to learn this also. By using a third party tool जैसे कि वर्कबेंच में आपको दिखा सकता हूँ because aside मेरे पास है नहीं, इन्फॉर्मेटिका क्लाउड के भी credentials हैं नहीं. So I can show you the workbench also. This is a third party tool. अब इसका Salesforce से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. But still with this tool, workbench, workbench, you can see the objects. You can see the objects of your organization and the fields also. And the fields also. like, let me go with this standard and the custom objects, and let me try to select. See, these many are the number of objects what we have created and what is there. यहाँ पे पूरी list है, developer console जैसा पूरा list है यहाँ पे. See, candidate we have just now created है ना, ये भी आ गया यहाँ पे. The position also we have created, तो सारी list है यहाँ पे. If you go with the P, if you go with the P list, थोड़ी सी बड़ी है. Position also is going to be listed out. PO. Position. See, position also. Right now we have created this. I select this and I these many other number of fields. 12 fields are there. 12 fields are there. If I ये सारी fields है. This is the way to see the fields inside the object. Position में इतनी fields है. What about the account? Let me go and select this account. If I select the account is having 66 fields. These many are the number of fields are there inside the account object. These many. So this is one more way, this is one more way to see the fields, but that is a third party tool. Workbench is not although it's a Salesforce sponsored tool, but it's a third party tool. तो भैया ये है सारे तरीके जिससे कि आप एक fields को देख सकते हैं inside the object. You have the standard navigation, you have force.com quick access menu, you can use this developer console, you can go with the schema builder, or maybe this third data loader tool, or maybe the third party tools like Workbench and all that. Okay. Chalo. So these are the ways to see the fields inside one object. Now let's learn this data type. I'm going to finish it very soon because I'm not going to explain each and everything regarding this. Well, I couldn't say you, Mohammed, about the advantages. I could only say that if someone doesn't have the access on the Salesforce organization, and if we want to work with the Salesforce, let me tell you one example with this. Let me tell you one example. Maybe I could show you something. Let me show you something. Maybe I could tell you. Okay, see, I'm working on a project right now. I mean, this is my actual project. It's Salesforce to CNS project. CNS stands for Campus Nexus Management System. It's a kind of education cloud, but it's a third party. This is not Salesforce. People are migrating their projects, their work from any other technology to the Salesforce. And the migrations are very vast nowadays because after pandemic, everyone has realized what's the importance of having a cloud technology and who is the giant in cloud. So people have now started their project, their technology to be get migrated on the Salesforce. So right now I'm working on a kind of this project only, and deadlines are very short. What I want you to explain over here, जो आपने question पूछा advantage, I couldn't tell you the advantage, but I can tell you the use. I am as a Salesforce guy, as a Salesforce guy, I have this login with me. I have this login. What I have created one code. I have created one code inside the Salesforce, and my code is going to convert this lead and the opportunity into a CSV file. Let me tell you this. This is my task. Whenever an opportunity is converted, whenever a lead is converted, three records are generated: account, contact, opportunity. My part is to handle the opportunities. Whenever the lead gets converted into the opportunity, I need to generate. Whenever the lead to opportunity is converted, I need to check for few things. I need to have some parameters with me. And with all these parameters, I'm making it simple. I'm making it simple. I am generating a CSV file, one Excel file I'm generating. That's it. This is my part. That's it. This is my part. Now, second team. This is also from my company. This is also from my company. There are a few people from .NET team. This is Salesforce team. This is .NET team. Now, .NET team is taking the CSV file and they are making this updates. They are making this updates. They are making this updates on CNS part. This is our CNS. ये CNS है. Okay. This is what CNS. Now, to make some updates, .NET people wants to have some access on the Salesforce objects. .NET people want some of the access on the few of the objects and their fields on the Salesforce. But because these people does not belong to the Salesforce, they don't have that credentials. So how a third party tool like .NET could, how a third party tool like the .NET could come inside the Salesforce up to a few, up to few things. He could come inside the Salesforce, like how to see the objects and how to see the fields. That time, this .NET guy, this .NET person who is working along with me, I'm the Salesforce, he's the .NET guy. So that .NET guy, Vikas, is working actually. Vikas is one of my friend from Indore. He's handling all this. So how could Vikas is going to see all this thing inside the Salesforce? Because he doesn't know the Salesforce. He doesn't have this credentials of the Salesforce. How does Vikas is going to see inside the Salesforce? So he is using some kind of third-party tools like your Workbench. Actually is to using the Informatica cloud. Let me tell you this. But he can use that. That is what the example. तो मैं आपको एडवांटेज नहीं बता रहा हूँ, मैं आपको यूज बता रहा हूँ. एडवांटेज मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा कुछ है नहीं इसमें. ये चीज है. चलिए आगे बढ़े फिर अभी. ओके. सो बिफोर क्रिएटिंग अ फील्ड हमने देख लिया कि वी हैव क्रिएटेड दिस ऑब्जेक्ट्स. हमने ऑब्जेक्ट्स तो क्रिएट कर लिए यार. ऑब्जेक्ट्स तो क्रिएट कर लिए. लेट मी क्लोज फ्यू ऑफ द टैब्स. But these objects, doesn't have any fields apart from the name. We could not enter anything inside the object, and it's not going to work like that. ऐसा तो काम नहीं चलेगा. So we need to create the field. This is a mandatory thing that we need to create the field. But creating a field requires you to learn the data types. Okay? What is the data type? There are altogether 19 different types of data types in the Salesforce. You are going after this lecture, go with this notes, learn everything. I'm just telling you in the short, because I'm going to create this data. I'm going to create the field with this data type. So that time with the practical, I'm going to explain it more. अभी मैं short में बताऊंगा. और you need to go with every attributes whatever has been listed out over here. Okay? So for creating a field who's having text as a data type, there are a few more options. You can select the text. You can select the text area long, text area rich. Now you could ask me, sir, what is the difference between all this? Yes, there are so many differences. But अभी इसको इस तरह से समझाने से अच्छा है मैं समझाऊंगा आपको. एक टेक्स्ट फील्ड क्रिएट करूंगा, एक टेक्स्ट एरिया फील्ड क्रिएट करूंगा. I will create a text area long field. I will create a one field with the text area rich data type, and you yourself is going to identify the differences. How does this look like? How does the appearance of this text area long? How does this text area looks like to be? And how does this text appears to be? So you yourself is going to find the differences between all these text fields. So that is why we need to keep patience, and you need to just let me go ahead. मुझे आगे जाने दो ताकि मैं जहां इसका वक्त आता है वहां इसको बताऊं. So for entering text, we literally have all these options. Or literally have it. Now you how to understand the differences? We are going to create the fields of every type, and then you understand कि यहाँ पे text लगता है, यहाँ पे text area लगता है, and here we need to have go with the text area long. Here we need to go with the text area this. That is how. For entering email, if you want to get the Anjali, can you please mute yourself? Anjali Thakre, please mute yourself. Yes. So for entering this, for entering the email ID inside the Salesforce, there's one data type. There's one data type called as email. ठीक है? See, अब यहाँ पे एक point discussion का आता है. If we select any field to be the text, using the text also you can enter your email ID. Using a text, it will provide you to enter the alphanumeric values, all special characters up to 255 characters. You can enter while you select the data type to be the text. You can go up to 255 characters, and you can enter every alphanumeric, every special characters. That means if you create a field with the text data type, you can even enter the email address. Why Salesforce has given you this facility, one additional data type to create the email? And this one is an admin question. This one is an admin interview question. If inside the Salesforce I can enter the email, if inside the Salesforce I can enter the email even with the text data type, why additionally Salesforce have email data type? Why additionally Salesforce has given email data type? This is one interview question. Okay? If you go for the interview for the admins, this could be one question. So no need to make any guessings. I'm going to tell you the answer. No need to make any guessings. Okay. See, if you select this to be the text, if you select this to be the text, yes, it's true. It's absolutely true that you can enter this email ID over here also. If I select this to be the text, if I make it, I want to have this over here in this line. So yes, I could enter this email ID. It is not going to stop me for anything, because inside the text is it's promising me that I can enter the alphanumeric and the special characters. With this my email ID, I have this all characters. This dot is what, it's a special symbol. As at the rate is again a special symbol. This dot is again a special symbol. I have few numericals value also. I have few, everything looks good. Yes, Salesforce is not going to stop me. This is one valid email ID. Okay, Salesforce is not going to stop me. I could enter my email ID over here also, over here also. I could enter my email ID even if I select this text to be the text to be the email. Yes, I can do that. But see, if I enter like this, kasim.145@gmail.com, text data type won't give me any error. Text data type, because there is no such validations in behind. There's no scripting in behind between the text who is going to check whether you have entered a validated email ID or not, whether your email is valid in the format, or not. But if you try to do same with the email ID, if you try to enter like this, it eventually is going to throw you one error on the screen. You have entered a wrong format email ID. बिकॉज इनसाइड दिस ईमेल आपको तो डेटा टाइप नजर आ रहा है, उसके पीछे एक स्क्रिप्टिंग है, उसके पीछे में कुछ कोड्स हैं, ठीक है, जावा स्क्रिप्ट कोड्स हैं जो काम कर रहे हैं और जो डिसाइड कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, कि ये जो आपने एंटर किया है वो सही ईमेल आईडी है भी या नहीं. इट्स वर्क्स अकॉर्डिंग टू द फॉर्मेट. ठीक है, ये फॉर्मेट के हिसाब से सही है या नहीं. तो ये कुछ चीजें हैं जो बैकएंड में चलती हैं. ठीक है, ये कुछ चीजें जो बैकएंड में चलती हैं. That is why, Salesforce has given you one data type especially to enter the email. And for entering the phone, we have this. हाँ, फोन नंबर में आपको इंडियन देखने की आदत है, बट सेल्सफोर्स में जब भी आप नंबर सेव करते हो, इफ यू एंटर दिस 10 डिजिट मोबाइल नंबर, इट इज गोइंग टू बी कन्वर्टेड इन द यूएस फॉर्मेट. यूएस में ये चलता है स्टेट एक्सटेंशन उसके बाद नंबर. तो जब भी आप फोन नंबर एंटर करते हो, तो आपका फोन नंबर भले आप इस तरह से एंटर कर रहे हो, ये सेव होगा इस फॉर्मेट में. वी आर गोइंग टू सेव दिस आल्सो. ठीक है. फॉर एंटरिंग द वेबसाइट एड्रेसेस, Salesforce have its own format called as URL. यहाँ पर भी आपको टेक्स्ट लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. देयर इज वन डेटा टाइप कॉल्ड एज URL. विद द वेबसाइट नेम, जो URLs होते हैं हमारे, वो यहाँ पे हम स्टोर कर सकते हैं. विद द, इफ यू सिलेक्ट दिस डेटा टाइप टू बी द URL, Salesforce have this data type to enter the numbers. परसेंटेज के लिए अपना डेटा टाइप है. ठीक है, चेक बॉक्सेस होते हैं, उसके बाद पिक लिस्ट है, मल्टी सिलेक्ट पिक लिस्ट है. पिक लिस्ट और मल्टी सिलेक्ट के बीच में मेजर डिफरेंस ये है कि पिक लिस्ट में आप केवल एक ही सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो, मल्टी पिक लिस्ट में आप एक से ज्यादा भी सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं ऑप्शंस. ठीक है. देन फॉर स्टोरिंग द डेट वैल्यू, सेल्सफोर्स में डेट डेटा टाइप होता है. टाइम के लिए टाइम होता है, फिर एक होता है डेट एंड टाइम. दोनों को मर्ज करके भी एक देख सकते हैं आप. ठीक है, डेट एंड टाइम. उसके बाद करेंसी स्टोर करने के लिए फिर नंबर्स की जरूरत नहीं. देयर इज अ फॉर्मेट फॉर द करेंसी. करेंसी नाम का एक डेटा टाइप होता है. अगर आप मैप का डेटा स्टोर करना चाहते हैं, तो लैटिट्यूड और द लॉन्गिट्यूड्स वैल्यू, तो उसके लिए जियो लोकेशन नाम का एक डेटा टाइप है सेल्सफोर्स में. एक्चुअली कहने की बात, सेल्सफोर्स के पास डेटा टाइप्स का बहुत ही रिच कंटेंट है. इतने डेटा टाइप ना तो जावा में अवेलेबल है, ना तो पाइथन में अवेलेबल है, और ना डॉटनेट में अवेलेबल है. इतने ज्यादा डेटा टाइप्स. अगर आप सेम सिंपल सी बात, अगर आप जावा में या डॉटनेट में अगर आप ईमेल एंटर करवाने के लिए एक फील्ड क्रिएट करते, जहां आप यूजर को बोलते कि एंटर योर ईमेल आईडी, उसके सामने एक टेक्स्ट बॉक्स बनाते, वहां पे यूजर ईमेल आईडी तो एंटर करता. अब उस ईमेल आईडी को वैलिडेट करने के लिए कि वेदर जो यूजर ने एंटर किया है वो सही फॉर्मेट है या नहीं, उसके लिए आपको अलग से कोड लिखना पड़ता है, अलग से स्क्रिप्टिंग लिखनी पड़ती है. ठीक है, तो ये चीज है. यहाँ पे वैसा नहीं है. जियो लोकेशंस के लिए आपको अलग से कुछ लिखना पड़ता है. सेल्सफोर्स का जो डेटा टाइप है ना, सबसे रिच है. जितने डेटा टाइप सेल्सफोर्स के पास है, प्रैक्टिकल डेटा टाइप, हर चीज. ऐसा नहीं कि फोन नंबर है तो उसके लिए कुछ और रखो, ईमेल है तो कुछ और, पहले टेक्स्ट ले लो फिर स्क्रिप्ट लगा के कन्वर्ट करो. यूआरएल से स्टोर करने तो पहले टेक्स्ट ले लो, उसको फिर यूआरएल में कन्वर्ट करो, कुछ स्क्रिप्ट लगाओ. नहीं, यहाँ पे डायरेक्ट यूआरएल ही डेटा टाइप. टाइम स्टोर करना है तो डायरेक्ट टाइम ही आपके पास, तो डेट है तो डायरेक्ट डेट. डेट एंड टाइम है तो ठीक है, दोनों मिला के मर्ज करने की जरूरत नहीं. डेटा टाइप है डेट एंड टाइम, डेट एंड टाइम. तो सेल्सफोर्स का जो डेटा टाइप के कंटेंट्स है ना, ये बहुत रिच है और ऑलमोस्ट हर एस्पेक्ट को कवर करता है. ऑलमोस्ट हर एस्पेक्ट कवर हो जाता है, इसमें सारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स कवर हो जाती है हमारी. ठीक है. तो जियो लोकेशन है, टेक्स्ट इनक्रिप्टेड. जब भी आप पासवर्ड एंटर करते हो या फिर आप किसी वेबसाइट पे अपना क्रेडिट कार्ड नंबर कुछ एंटर करते हो, तो वो मास्क हो जाता है, आपको दिखता नहीं है. पासवर्ड यूजुअली एस्ट्रिक्स से मास्क होते हैं, क्रेडिट कार्ड नंबर कैपिटल एक्स से मास्क होते हैं, है ना. तो इसके लिए फिर अलग से जावा में इसके लिए पहले आप टेक्स्ट सिलेक्ट करो और उसको मास्क करने के लिए पीछे में स्क्रिप्टिंग लिखनी पड़ती है. तो everywhere in the Java, we need to write down the code छोटी छोटी चीजों के लिए भी कोड लिखते थे, क्योंकि वहाँ डेटा टाइप रिच नहीं था, डेटा टाइप बहुत ही लिमिटेड था। उसकी फंक्शनैलिटीज को एक्सटेंड करने के लिए हम कोडिंग करते थे। यहाँ पे वो सारी चीजें पहले से तैयार होके आपको मिलती हैं। ठीक है, तो इधर सो में थी ऑटो नंबर्स के लिए कोई फॉर्मूला कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता, ऑटो नंबर खुद ही एक फील्ड है, कोई वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर नहीं करना पड़ता। आप उसमें जो भी वैल्यू रखते हैं, नेक्स्ट वैल्यू जब भी आप स्टोर करते हैं वो एक से इंक्रीमेंटेड होती है, एक से ही इंक्रीमेंट होती है। अगर आपको दो से करना है तो फिर स्क्रिप्ट लिखो। ठीक है, आज डिपार्टमेंट्स की इन्फॉर्मेशन आप लिख रहे हैं, D101 से स्टार्ट किया, अब जब नेक्स्ट डिपार्टमेंट का इन्फॉर्मेशन स्टोर करोगे ऑटोमेटिकली नेक्स्ट रिकॉर्ड 102 आ जाएगा, फिर 103 आ जाएगा, इस तरह से। तो दीज आर द 19 डिफरेंट डेटा टाइप्स। ठीक है, एक बार सभी को आज इसको पढ़ लेना है। ठीक है, आज आपको सभी को इसको पढ़ लेना है पूरा, और कल से हम स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं कस्टम फील्ड्स इनसाइड द ऑब्जेक्ट, और इसके लिए मैं वापस यही आईडीडी फॉलो करने वाला हूँ। ठीक है, तो अब जिस ऑब्जेक्ट में जो जो फील्ड्स क्रिएट करनी है वो, तो कल हम क्या करेंगे, फॉर हायरिंग मैनेजर ओनली आई एम गोइंग टू क्रिएट द फील्ड्स यूजिंग स्टैंडर्ड नेविगेशन। लेकिन फॉर द मतलब यू आर गोइंग टू लर्न दिस हाउ टू क्रिएट द फील्ड, देयर आर टू वेज, अगेन देयर आर टू वेज, again there are two ways using the standard navigation. Let me explain. How to create the field, there are two ways, standard navigation and the schema builder, दो तरीके हैं, अगेन फिर से दो तरीके हैं। ठीक है, तो हम क्या करने वाले हैं, सिर्फ हायरिंग मैनेजर के लिए मैं स्टैंडर्ड नेविगेशन लूंगा, लेकिन आपके कैंडिडेट और पोजीशन दोनों के लिए कल जब मैं फील्ड क्रिएट करूंगा, सो आई विल गो विद द स्कीमा बिल्डर। ठीक है, और कल आपने ऑब्जर्व करना है कुछ चीजें, और फिर जैसे कि आज आप सब लोग खामोश थे, कल प्लीज खामोश नहीं रहना। कल पहला, कल क्या है, फ्राइडे। ठीक है, टुमारो इज द लास्ट डे, तो वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट द फील्ड्स ऑन ऑल दीज थ्री, कल ये काम हमारा कंप्लीट हो जाता है। तो भाई कल हम क्रिएट करेंगे फील्ड्स इनसाइड हायरिंग मैनेजर, इनसाइड कैंडिडेट, इनसाइड पोजीशन। हायरिंग मैनेजर के केस में आई एम गोइंग टू क्रिएट दिस विद द स्टैंडर्ड नेविगेशन. Rest of the two objects, the candidate position, we are going to create it with the schema builder. You need to observe what is the difference between creating a field inside standard navigation and using the schema. और उस पर हम कल डिस्कशन करेंगे, उसके बाद ही हम लेक्चर को एंड करेंगे। ठीक है, टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू स्टॉप इट राइट नाउ। अप टू दिस लाइक वी हैव कंप्लीटेड, एंड गिव मी अ सेकंड, या tomorrow we are going to start with the creating the custom fields. ठीक है, now one request is that I in a day I used to handle 11 batches. तो I usually forgot, मैं भूल जाता हूँ कि where I need to start. So हमारे स्कूलों में एक प्रथा चलती थी, मॉनिटर्स की प्रथा। ठीक है, तो प्लीज डोंट माइंड दिस, आई नीड टू हैव समवन यू एज अ मॉनिटर ऑफ योर क्लास, whose responsibilities, there are few responsibilities I need to assign. One of them is to remind me कि मुझे कहाँ से start करना है. So and we are going to after 1 week we are going to change this, we are going to give everybody a chance for this. So I can see in the participants I can see the name of Amira Arshin as the top. So presently Amira, for this week, up to Friday, आपको एक ही दिन का मॉनिटर बना रहा हूँ मैं. It's your responsibility to tell me कि मुझे कल से कहाँ स्टार्ट करना है. ठीक है, and if I give any assignments meanwhile you need to recall me that also. अगर कुछ डिस्कशन में मैंने कहा कि ये इस पर डिस्कशन लेना है कल, so again you need to please recall me, because I have so many batches to handle and I usually forgot, I need to have my works also. तो आमिरा, आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ये मॉनिटर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यही रहेगी बॉस, मुझे याद दिलाना, इसके अलावा कुछ चीजें और रहेंगी. चलिए, लेट मी फर्स्ट स्टॉप द